summer this is so far. Snow, rain, hail, tornado warnings all squeezed into this summer solstice in Colorado. The radar gave us the first indication this was popping near the town of Elbert, a real live tornado. Gail Gresham grabbed shots of RVs that went on short, very disappointing trips and some fences that need mending. Meteorologist Corey Reppenhagen is happier than a pig in slop chasing these storms, and he got this video of the cell that prompted the tornado warning in Kiowa.
It has been a wild start to the summer season. This hail out there in Franktown, Tiffany Phillips capturing that one with the severe cell traveling right on through Elbert and into Lincoln counties earlier this afternoon. And that's where we still find most of the activity. A lot of lightning strikes still coming through, pockets of heavy rain, and once again, more hail. Here in the metro area, it's just been some pretty light rain showers. Highlands Ranch, a couple of lightning strikes, and then a few heading up just a bit further to the north toward DIA. Tonight, the showers will continue for us. It's a cool night with overnight lows dipping into the 40s for most of northeastern Colorado and 30s going up in the high country. We had one cold front that pushed through early this morning. Another one rolls through late tonight, reinforcing all of that cold air and helping to bring us a little snow up in the high country. So here we are about 10 p.m. Rain still going strong up and down the I-25 corridor. Snow up in the mountains as well. We'll be looking at several inches stacking up, and by morning still soggy and gray. Another round of storms pushes through tomorrow afternoon. Some of those potentially severe here in the metro area and further to the south and east. As far as the high country goes, a winter wonderland with about 4 to 8 inches coming through, possibly up to 10 inches above 10,000 feet. And those advisories will continue through Sunday. Tomorrow, I know the start of the weekend, a cool start with daytime highs only in the 60s. We'll stay in the 60s across the plains, 70s in southeastern Colorado, 40s and 50s up in the mountains. So Mother Nature bringing us some soggy spring-like weather as we head toward the weekend. But next week, not too bad. 80s, 90s, sunshine. There's the summer season right there.
Yes, there's the summer you promised. All right, thank you, Danielle. The most Colorado thing we've seen today is a road closed in the summertime because of winter. Feels like Trail Ridge Road just recently reopened at Rocky Mountain National Park after it was plowed for summer traffic. It was closed for a time this morning because of heavy sleet and cold temperatures up there on the highest continuous paved road in North America. Did you know that? Highest continuous paved road in North America, Trail Ridge. Well, something to impress your family and friends. Either President Trump is bluffing again, or immigration agents will be rounding up families in cities including Denver this weekend. Sunday morning, a massive operation across America. Now, ICE will not confirm that Denver is on the target list. Denver Mayor Michael Hancock says immigration agents wouldn't tell him about their operations anyway. Denver doesn't cooperate with ICE outside what's required by law. In Aurora, police quickly came out today to say that they have no authority to detain anybody based on their immigration status and that they cannot investigate or enforce federal immigration law. Okay, but that's APD. That does not tell us what ICE might try to do in Aurora over the weekend without help from police. Colorado's congressional delegation also seems to be having trouble getting information about the ICE roundup threatened by the president. Both Democratic Senator Michael Bennet and Congresswoman Diana DeGette's teams told me that they are concerned about what they have heard, but they have not been able to get confirmed details out of ICE. Danger for the men and women of the Colorado State Patrol, law enforcement in general. It lies in moments both big and small. The most mundane calls and everyday tasks can be things that put their lives at risk. Trooper William Modane had been on countless traffic calls in his career before the one where he lost his life last Friday. If you ever had the misfortune to be involved in a crash on Colorado's roads, you'd want someone like Trooper William Modane pulling up beside you.
He was a sensitive man. He was kind.
And for the moments when your danger had passed, you'd want someone like Trooper Modane beside you.
You knew if you were spending time with him, you were going to laugh at some point. Not just a regular laugh, but a deep belly laugh.
But for the state troopers working along Colorado's roads, the danger is ever present. Like the night last Friday, when Modane was hit and killed while working a crash scene on I-70 near Deer Trail.
Will never miss an opportunity to serve his community. He dedicated his life to saving the lives of others. Without question, he fulfilled his mission.
At the last minute, the State Patrol decided against its announced plans to close that stretch of I-70 last night to go back and reinvestigate Modane's death. There's been no suggestion that the truck driver who hit the trooper did anything wrong or illegal, but that's what's being investigated. State law requires drivers move over or slow down. Troopers say that Modane's car was on the right shoulder and that the truck was in the left lane, which is where it should have been. If you made it home to watch this program live on television, congratulations. If somebody you know is still stuck in traffic, hit that record button and show this to them later. Traffic is backing up again at a major intersection in Denver, and it is the most predictable thing in the world. The city knew it was going to happen, and the city's even getting paid because it's happening. Our Marshall Zellinger's been telling us how developers can trade their money for our inconvenience. So I am curious, Marshall, do developers have to pay a whole lot more if they want to shut down part of a busy road like Colorado Boulevard at 8th Avenue?
You would think that might be the case, but I found out Colorado Boulevard, which loosely translates to road no one wants to get caught on any time of day, it's treated no differently than a road that carries 3,000 cars, which is why you're seeing some backup right now because of the construction project just a couple blocks away that is now encroaching into traffic. Colorado Boulevard is busy enough without an extra set of lights merging you into fewer lanes.
I didn't let anybody in. He just kind of cut in front of me.
One of Denver's busiest streets has been down one lane at 8th Avenue since early May, and it'll stay this way for another month. So will the lane closure on westbound 8th Avenue just before Colorado, which creates a steep backup to the windows in front of Steep Tea and Coffee.
Yeah, it's a pain in the butt. Right now it is, noon? And traffic's backed up even though this is far from a peak hour.
The construction of the 9th and Colorado development at the old University Hospital is now encroaching into traffic, and it's costing the developer $90,000.
I didn't get anything in my mail today or any other day. Where does that $90,000 go?
We're able to use that money to repair potholes, pave the streets, do all the things that we do to help improve the quality of life in Denver.
As we've shown you before, Denver Public Works charges to close lanes of traffic. The price is more steep when the closure is 24 hours a day.
I usually turn off around 4th or 5th because traffic just backs up for lights at a time.
The price to close a lane of 8th or Colorado is no different than the price to close a lane of Spear or Grant or 3rd Avenue by 9 News. Roads that get 3,000 to 14,000 cars a day are charged at the same rate. Residential roads get a discount.
Denver Public Works is looking at that fee structure, though, to see if it should be updated based on the current demands for construction within the public right-of-way.
It is 6:07, and look at the traffic already backed up. This is between 5th and 6th Avenue heading north on Colorado. At least these cars are smart. They're not in this right lane, which ends a couple blocks away. Here's the good news. The developers of that project at 9th and Colorado tell me when this is done next month, you're going to have extra lanes. If you're coming west on 8th, you'll have a dedicated right turn to northbound Colorado. If you're on Colorado, there'll be acceleration and deceleration lanes. So for what we're experiencing for 2.5 months, we're supposed to benefit from in the future. I'll believe it when I see it, Kyle.
As a friend of my wife loves to say, it doesn't matter the question. Colorado Boulevard is not the answer. Marshall Zellinger, parked on a side
there's a
street.
T-shirt that says
He'll be back soon. It was always very wise, very wise. All right, thank you, Marshall, for that perspective. So you all came through big time last night. You topped off the fundraising effort to rename part of 470 for Dave Sanders, the teacher who died protecting his students at Columbine. That GoFundMe page had kind of gotten a little stagnant. Then we had a conversation about it last night. So Jared Gates, who's a Columbine survivor and artist, came by to talk about his quest to rename that portion of the highway. He's the artist who's making steel Rebel roses that he's selling to raise the remaining money that was needed for those memorial highway signs. After our story aired, a bunch of you wrote in asking how you could buy some of those steel roses. And 16 people went right to the GoFundMe page where they donated nearly $1,600. And a CDOT employee who's one of the moderators shut it down at that point, said they now have enough money for the signs. So thank you. As America works to develop the new hemp industry, researchers are trying to find a way to standardize the market to try and get rid of some of the confusion we've seen in Colorado and elsewhere. Oregon State University just opened up the world's biggest hemp research lab that's in the U.S. It'll offer certification for hemp seed that guarantees that the crop is legitimate and legal. That's the issue when it starts to cross state lines. We've been talking about this here. Colorado was the first state to legalize hemp before the Farm Bill did it nationwide. Colorado's Ag Department has a certification program of its own. They're working hand in hand with this new Oregon lab. We talked about how confusion over this has already resulted in people in jail. 4 people arrested for hauling what they said was hemp to Colorado through Oklahoma. But a prosecutor in Oklahoma insists, no, that's weed and you're going to jail for it. Those 2 semi-drivers had their charges dropped. The 2 security guards, one of whom is from Aurora, are still looking at drug trafficking charges in Oklahoma. They're back in court in August. A community is begging for a rec center. A business that might be pushed out has a surprising reaction. More of you have more questions about the rando voice that showed up on the DIA trains. The answer is, you're being subjected to an experiment. And that is a smart car. I'll let you decide for yourself about the driver. Next. You hop on a train at DIA and you expect to hear that booming bass voice of Alan Roach or the friendly tones of our Kim Christensen. But now riders are hearing some other random guy. An ex-viewer named Peyton tweeted us overnight about this, asking why the airport changed the announcer on the train system right after the big contest to decide who's going to be. There's another viewer, Raymond, who emailed us last night, asked the same question.
The doors are closing. Getting a whole ride for like free, like me, but we won't be at the same class.
Raymond, Peyton, don't worry. Alan Roach and Kim Christensen are not going anywhere. We mentioned this on Next on Wednesday, but we know that everyone is not able to watch every day. The airport is testing out a few new messages, trying to get travelers to board and then move to the middle, as opposed to board and turn around and stare at you while you try to get past them. DIA is studying whether new messages can change riders' behavior. So if they work, Kim and Alan are going to go in and lay their own dulcet tones to them. Today we have a special edition of What Do You Say? The name of an institution for decades in our newsroom, the co-creator of Next, my boss, who is marking her last day here. Her last name is kind of tricky to pronounce, so we turn to our morning anchor, Gary Shapiro, to ask, what do you say?
It's why we now have a director of innovative content, Linda Katsofkas.
Well, it's a good thing that Gary and our boss both have a great sense of humor, because that is definitely not how you pronounce Linda Katsofkas. I almost hesitate every time on air or off when I call her our boss, because that term can carry such a negative connotation. Rather than change the word, I think more bosses should aspire to Linda's standards. She's been the guiding force behind Next. 5 years ago, Linda and I thought that perhaps we could take your suggestions and your ideas about what the news should be and build a show that you wouldn't just watch, but actually enjoy watching. And Linda's the kind of boss who does not just tell you what to do. She sits down next to you and works at your side until the job is done. Linda has been behind some of Next's best ideas, and she has also kept me from trying some of my worst ideas. I hope that all of you are fortunate enough to work with someone like Linda someday. Someone that you trust with your life, or at least your professional life. So on this edition of What Do You Say? It is us who get to say, thank you, Linda. Thank you for believing in us, for encouraging us, and for working at our side every day to try and make TV news something that all of you would enjoy watching. We'll be right back. Don't mess with Westwood. Westwood has a way of winning. That community in Denver wanted a park. Neighbors designed it themselves, they fought for it, and they got it. Now Westwood wants its first rec center. They're willing to design it, so who's going to stand in Westwood's way? Our Sonia Gutierrez has the story.
Barrios Unidos literally means a neighborhood united.
Pues son los de la comunidad.
For the people who live in Westwood, it's so much more. It's the lavandería en la esquina, the laundromat on the corner.
Papitas, su soda.
With Abarrotes Medina, the snack shop inside. It's Cuatro Vientos.
Y diseñado completamente por nuestra comunidad.
The park designed completely by the community. And el car wash.
Para un parque y ahora un centro de recreación, pues o sea, No, es lo máximo.
That's the next spot Norma Brambila with Westwood Unidos is looking to design into their own rec center.
Fue una lucha de varios años.
They fought several years for this and finally got $37 million from a bond approved by voters 2 years ago. If the city votes to buy this land, the rec center will go right here, where the lavanderia and her snack shop are.
Pues sí va a ser muy bonito eso que van a hacer para los niños.
If you didn't catch that in Spanish, she still supports this. She's just worried about where her shop will go.
Sí, claro, me va a afectar a mí bastante porque pues yo en realidad de esto vivo.
She's hopeful there will be enough space for both her and the rec center. En un barrio unido, in a neighborhood so united, todo se puede. Everything is possible.
Es un ejemplo de Cuatro Vientos de que sí se puede y ahora un centro de recreación tiene que poderse.
For Next, I'm Sonia Gutierrez.
City Council votes on that land purchase next month. Then comes the public meetings. You can bet Westwood will have some ideas. A reminder that smart cars are only as smart as the person driving. This one drove into wet concrete in Westminster this afternoon. I do like how the construction workers are just letting the driver marinate in it for a little while. Think about what you've done. And be honest, who hasn't had a day at work like the construction worker who was just sitting on the curb there all sad like? We feel his pain. Your good news and your words for our boss. Next. Let's get to it. Start our summer with your good news.
Today is Friday.
It's the first day of summer!
Oh, is it the first day of summer? Nice.
Today is the summer solstice.
What's special about this day?
Well, everyone could, of course, go to Elliston.
You could go to Elliston.
Any amusement park they want to.
Yep, and we're out of school.
Yeah,
right?
And it's a nice day to go to Chick-fil-A and ride your scooter or ride your bike or play outside.
Yeah. I always think once it's June, I'm like, it's summer. You know, like.
Good morning, Spirit Ways. Today is really special because it's a time to appreciate the earth and all her gifts.
What's our good news? Today's the first day of summer and we get to go to the pool, to the park,
to
amusement parks, and we just get to explore Denver. And that's really good news.
I do have good news. We have these wonderful windows here and we see a lot of people just enjoying life.
Live for the moment, but have dreams for the future.
You can go out of town, go to New York, Los Angeles, Pennsylvania.
If you have a hope worth living for, then there's always reason to be optimistic.
Be kind to each other, be kind to the earth, and remember our blessings. Thanks for coming in. Happy solstice.
It's the best day.
As we say goodbye today to Next co-creator Linda Katsaftis, Mary writes in, bravo to Linda for launching Next. Orville and Diane say, thank you, Linda, for being there for us. And Noah says we should all be fortunate to work for somebody like that. Now, how about you list some of your worst ideas that Linda stopped? Well, there's going to be nothing to stop them next time.